Welcome to episode 35 of the Teaming Up podcast. In this episode, Meg Irvin chats with Diana McMahon, Vice President of InUnison. The two talk about the importance of supporting all things local, and they dive into a few of the benefits of joining InUnison. If you haven't yet, make sure you're subscribed to Teaming Up and leave us a review if you like what you're hearing. Now, Meg, take it away.
Hey, Diana. Thanks for joining us today here at Hodges. I think this is the first Teaming Up that we have done in our new space. So excited to be here. Now, I just got to give you a little tour of our office.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. So you have been at InUnison for a long time. Can you just start off by telling me a little bit more about you, your role, what you do there?
Sure. I've been at InUnison for almost 13 years now. So I've had a long tenure. I started as an intern, formerly when it was Retail Merchants Association. We'll talk a little bit about that. But InUnison is a membership organization dedicated to supporting locally owned independent businesses in Central Virginia. We are the only organization that is solely focused on preserving and advancing our local businesses. And we're a membership tiered organization that offers a subscription model, so it makes it as flexible and accessible to every local business as possible.
And you can join for free, right? I mean, I know you have different options, but there are free membership options for people that just want to get engaged and learn more about it. Is that right?
That's exactly right. So like I said, we have a tiered membership organization, and having that free level was extremely important to us just to make it as accessible to as many local businesses. So really, and every local business has the opportunity to tap into our network and the benefits that we offer.
Okay. I know at Hodges recently, we hosted one of your offerings, which is the Learning Lab program that you do. And so we did something for your members recently on communications and marketing. And I always feel like when I'm at one of your events that you all just have such a unique and special membership. I feel like they just turn into group brainstorms, essentially, where all of the members just end up talking and idea sharing and really just trying to lift up the other people that are in the room. Is that the norm of your events? Because I feel like it's different from any other type of networking type organization that I've been a part of.
Yeah. And first, thank you for collaborating with us on that event. It was really well received by our members, had some great feedback. And absolutely, I think we're really lucky that we work with a lot of businesses that are interested in that type of collaboration. We've intentionally scaled back the size of our events so that they are more intimate. They allow for that kind of collaborative environment where businesses can really share and feel like they're not only giving the input, but they're getting something out of it when they attend. And I feel like that spirit has long defined the Richmond business environment. And so we're really lucky that there are a lot of businesses that are really interested in showing up and collaborating with other businesses. I think, being an entrepreneur can be a lonely place at times, and having the ability to work with other businesses and share those common challenges or, spitball ideas off of other leaders in our community is really helpful. And so we're very fortunate that, the businesses that we attract and that, want to become part of the organization really share that kind of philosophy.
Yeah, I remember there was one person in that program that joked at the end that he felt like he was getting a personal consulting session because I think the conversation had revolved around his business for 5 minutes. And he's like, this is too generous. But so it's just really cool to see how the organization works and how much the people that are members embrace it. So how long have you all been InUnison? Because you were a Retail Merchants Association. You were really focused on retailers as members, and then that has been a transition in the last few years. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Exactly. So we transitioned to InUnison in 2022 is when we officially relaunched and had rebranded. But I'll kind of take us back to the history. Retail Merchants Association started in 1906, and I'll tell the little story of it really was 9 retailers that came together for a collective cause. And that was to go to city council and ask for money to sprinkle the streets with water, because back when horse and buggy was the main mode of transportation back then, and they would come through the main street, it would kick dust up into the stores and it would damage merchandise. It would impact their kind of customer experience. And so 9 of these retailers came together and went to city council and were they were able to secure $20,000, which was an enormous amount of money at that time, in funding for sprinkling the streets with water. And so that kind of collective power has always been part of us. And we were focused on retail for a long time, but as retail has evolved over the years, and as, our membership has kind of expanded in different ways, we really took a step back and wanted to identify how can we be a more purposeful organization. And so we found that serving our locally owned, independently operated businesses provided more of value to our community, and really the Richmond community, in the unique experience of being a business in this area. We found that unlike national chains, they don't have corporate resources. They don't have the HR guidance, the marketing expertise, or that operational support. And so we want to be that support system for them. And just like you were mentioning, that collaborative environment where they can work with other business owners that share the common challenges and those problems, establishing that network for them, we know helps businesses set them up for better success.
You mentioned from the very beginning that advocacy component, you mentioned those 9 businesses coming together to create change and, to help solve a problem together. And advocacy is a big part still of what you do now. So in addition to the membership events and everything that you offer for members that's more maybe tangible in that way, can you talk a little bit about the research and advocacy component of what you all do?
Absolutely. So advocacy has always been built into our organization, like you were saying, that collective voice and being the voice of a lot of different voices and coming together in a unified message is really one thing that's always held true for us. And one way that we do that is through research. We're really big on continuously getting feedback from our members and from the Richmond business community in general. So if anyone owns or operates a business in the region, we want to hear from them. And our research serves 3 key purposes. First, it keeps business owners informed about current economic and market conditions, helping them navigate challenges and opportunities. Second, it allows them to benchmark their performance against their peers, offering valuable insights for growth and decision-making. And then third, it strengthens our advocacy efforts. It helps us champion policies and initiatives that directly address the real needs of our local businesses and the things that are really unique to our local businesses too.
And you all are taking that information that you have ongoing research opportunities. So you have a monthly research panel that you do that anyone listening, like Diana said, if you work or own a local business, you can be a part of that research. I am. And it doesn't take a long time. You can get local gift cards for participating, but it really is like a 5-minute, a month commitment. And I know how much it helps you all because your team can then take that back to, local leaders, local politicians, and really be able to help drive some of that change based on what you're hearing as far as group momentum and what people are just experiencing on a day-to-day basis.
Right. It helps us be not only close to what's happening with our local business community, but be timely about what the, challenges and needs are evolving very quickly. And so it helps us really be timely with how we support our local businesses and adapt and be a really dynamic organization.
And I know your biggest research piece every year is State of Local, which is you're at the tail end right now of collecting your research for this year. And the results for this year's State of Local will be announced in April. Is that right?
Yes. So not sure when this will be published, but if we're still collecting for that, I strongly encourage anyone to sign up for State of Local. But if not participating in it, we will share the results. And again, this kind of goes back into that informing, the benchmarking, helping you benchmark against peers, and really helps us be better advocates for our businesses in terms of what they're experiencing with market conditions. And so we will share those results back out to the community, and we will also welcome someone from the Richmond Fed to come in and talk about more of those macroeconomic trends and help kind of compare what are they seeing on more national levels, on international levels, comparatively to what we feel like we're seeing here in the Richmond market.
And how many years have you all done State of Local now?
This will be our third annual.
Okay. So I know it just keeps getting bigger each year, right? It's really one of those things that you're just building on. And I feel like the significance of it is growing as the number of people that respond, gets larger each year.
Exactly. So the more that we have participate, the more statistically significant it is, the more that we feel like it represents the actual Richmond market. And we really want that diversity of voice and business to participate so that we feel like we're having a true showing of what's happening here locally. And it helps us be, like I said, a better advocate. It helps us inform better and all of those things. So the more participation we have, the better. And like you said, you are rewarded with a $5 gift card to a local business for participating. And it really doesn't take a lot of time. So max 10 minutes and get something special out of it.
And you get a choice of gift cards, yes, which I feel like you often don't in these situations. But I think the last time that I responded, I got to choose between Grit Coffee and I forget what else. I know you try to choose from a bunch of different businesses. So you're supporting, your members across the board. But it is fun when you fill something out and then someone's asking you, where do you want $5 to? I'm like, oh, I get to choose. This is exciting.
Exactly. And a lot of people get to try a new place that they haven't been to before, which is a great input for us in, around sending people back out into the community to support our local businesses.
In the recent Learning Lab program that I referenced before, there was a member that was there who was doing one of the coolest things, who maybe we can look it up and include it in the show notes if that's a thing that we do. But she does like repurposed yarn. And so she has, Instagram and different channels. And she essentially buys like old pieces of clothing and she'll unspool them and sell like the yarn from these pieces. And she has a like pretty significant like national following, it seems like. I think maybe it's like the Yarn Project or something like that. But it was just such a random thing, among the people that were in the room. I think Crossroads, like you said, they were there. There were some more traditional retailers, but then there were also these like true entrepreneurs and people that were just doing something a little bit different and unexpected, but having a lot of success with it. So it was cool.
Yeah, I feel like that's one of the really cool parts of the breadth of who we work with. There's so many unique businesses that are bringing a really unique perspective and opportunity to the community. It's what creates this really vibrant, diverse place for us to live and get to enjoy. And so it's great. I mean, we work with so many different types of businesses that she may be part of Top Stitch Mending. I think she's a different business, but has, works with them. And they're doing great work about, no clothing waste. So there's all of this with, fast fashion and everything like that, where they're trying to eliminate that. They'll mend any piece of clothing, and they're located up in Churchill and just trying to do good in the community. So we work with a ton of businesses that have real purpose and are contributing in really meaningful ways to our community and, the beyond.
Let's talk a little bit about shopping local. I feel like it's one of those things that there's so much attention to it around the holidays, around Small Business Saturday, and there's a lot of momentum towards local businesses. But I know we talk about this a lot. I mean, there's a lot of research that proves how much your dollar, how much more of an impact your dollar has when it's going into a local business. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So two interesting, actually, things that have come out from our research is, one is that, that big shopping weekend is not as significant for local businesses as it is for those large national retailers. So it kind of helps us know that pushing the shop local message beyond just that specific time frame is really important. And so that's something that we try to work on year round. And, local businesses face significant challenges today. They have cash flow issues, labor shortages, rising costs. And I know all businesses are experiencing this, but it's particularly challenging when you're a standalone business and operating on tight margins anyway. And so we know that when you spend money with a local business, 68% stays of each dollar that you spend stays within our local community versus the 43% that stays with a national business. So not only is it great to support those businesses that are employing our neighbors and friends, but it's also impactful to our economy at the bottom, at the end of the day. And so we really encourage not only you to support whenever you can, make that choice when you can, because we know it's not always the feasible option, but certainly try to seek out. And we have our Find Local program that makes it easy for people to go and search for certified locally businesses. So that they've been vetted to make sure that they are actually locally owned and independently operated in our Richmond area. And it's findlocalrva.com. And we not only do that for our retail and our, experienced businesses, but for B2B too, our business to business businesses, those business support businesses. We really want to encourage people or our members to do business with other local businesses. And so we have both of those areas mapped out on there. And again, it's all certified, locally owned. And we know that when we are supporting our local businesses, that, it comes back to us and creates this vibrant community. It helps our local economy. And it really just does a lot more for us as a community than when we're spending with national chains.
I would encourage anybody that hasn't explored the Find Local RVA directory before. I know I've had the chance to play with it a few times, when I've been having to make a shopping decision or a decision about, a local supplier or somebody to work with for something that we needed. And it's just nice to have that tool to realize, oh, there's somebody that's not far from my house that can offer this, or just tells you a little bit more than Google does as far as, how you can be giving back to the community. So it's really cool. And I feel like you only just started that somewhat recently. So I feel like there's a lot of opportunity for more people to learn about it and to start using it.
Exactly. And you can save your favorite businesses. You can create itineraries for yourself. There's also the opportunity for you to add your favorite local businesses. Because we offer this free option, we want to showcase as many local businesses as possible on there. So if you see one of your favorites that hasn't been listed, you can actually add them on there. And we will make sure that we get it all certified and put up there appropriately. But it's a great resource for anyone who's looking to actively seek out those local businesses.
So I thought we could wrap up by maybe talking about some of our favorite local businesses around Richmond. And so I don't know if you want to start by talking about one or two that you guys frequent or, that you end up using a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I will put my disclaimer out there that these are just a few, and we service and patronize many, many local businesses. And so these are just a few of my most recently visited or top favorites that I've been to. I was just spent my morning at Grit Coffee. I go there frequently on my way to work, and they're just an excellent place to pop in. I always see people collaborating, having meetings, and enjoying, a cup of coffee, and it feels like such a community neighborhood spot. So I love going there. Gelati Celesti is an all-time favorite. I have 2 little kids, and so we frequent there quite often. And then I will mention Robinson's Plumbing is a locally owned plumbing company who, I know that's not your traditional retail spot, but they've gotten us out of a lot of tricky situations at home and have just been an excellent company to work for. So a shout out to them. And these are all members and great companies to do business with.
I was going to say I personally frequent Shops at 5807, which is kind of a collective of, little businesses within the larger business. And for anybody that doesn't know, they're right there on Patterson is the original location, like in the West Hampton area. But then they also have location on the south side now as well. So there's 2 different places where people can shop. But when you talk about the plumbing, I feel like I'm always thinking about who is saving me in times of need. And Shops at 5807 does the gift wrapping service. And so I feel like whenever I am late on a birthday gift or on my way to a party and I don't have something, or, showing up to a housewarming or something like that, I pop in and all of a sudden I look like I really was on top of my game and was really well prepared. So I feel like any local service that can help you with something like that is just a win in my book.
Absolutely. And I feel like that kind of goes back to the purpose of us, right? Our organization is, a long time ago, every business was local, and they were the ones that always stepped in a time of need. And they have always been a part of our business or a part of our community and helping, to really be there and create this tight-knit place that we all enjoy to live. And I think that that's what's beautiful about who we are today is we're going back to supporting that. And so we're going back to our roots we are back to our roots. And, we really just encourage everyone to do the same in supporting their local businesses and enjoying those little moments of joy that they can get when working with local business.
Well, Diana, thank you for joining us here today. And, I think one of the best things about Richmond is that, wherever you are, no matter the part of town, as you're driving around, as you're walking around, there's really local businesses everywhere. So I think especially as the weather turns a corner and people are out and about more, it's just a nice time to pop into places and revisit maybe a local business that you haven't had a chance to get to recently, but the local businesses are everywhere here. So, and I know your membership is too.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Teaming Up podcast. Teaming Up is brought to you by the Hodges Partnership, a strategic communications agency that specializes in storytelling through public relations, media relations, content marketing, and social media. The Teaming Up podcast is a Happy Committee production. Episodes are released monthly. Subscribe on your favorite podcast service so you never miss an episode.